Good morning, students. Let us start this session with an interesting concept, demand. What is demand? Generally speaking, demand is referred as desire, but mere desire cannot be a demand unless it is backed by two essential elements. Those are willingness to buy as well as ability to pay for it. To give one good example, I can take up your favorite example of buying a Cadbury chocolate worth 100 rupees, wherein in your pocket you have just rupees 20 to pay for it. So, your desire to buy a Cadbury chocolate cannot be called as demand unless you have enough money to pay for it. Therefore, demand is a desire which is backed by willingness as well as ability to pay for it. Now, we can easily give the definition for demand which I have quoted on the board. Students, you can just have a look at this particular definition of demand which is important from your examination point of view. What is demand? Demand is the quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing and able to buy at each possible price during a given period of time. If you read this particular definition, you get four essential elements which are highlighted. The first and the foremost essential element that you can see in this definition is quantity of a commodity. See, when a consumer wishes to buy a goods and services, example, a consumer may wish to buy 1 kg of apple. The quantity that 1 kg itself is called as a demand. And another important essential element is willingness to buy. A consumer must have the willingness or wish to buy that product. If he doesn't wish to buy apple, then demand is not created or demand is not made by the consumer. Therefore, he must have the willingness to buy that particular product. Then ability, most important and essential element is ability to pay for it. I told that you have the desire, you wish to buy that good, but you have no money to afford to pay for it, then it cannot be called as demand. Therefore, demand should be backed by not only willingness but ability to pay for it. And another important essential thing that we need to look into is price of a commodity. You know very well that in the present scenario, each and every goods are priced. A particular price is fixed for a good or services. Therefore, we have to say that whatever the price that is being fixed as per the current situation or on that particular situation is to be considered. A commodity is sold at a particular price during a given period of time. Maybe the price will not be the same at all times. It keeps on changing as per the market forces. Then finally, period of time. Even time matters because price won't remain the same all the time. It keeps on changing. Therefore, demand is the quantity of the commodity that a consumer is willing and able to buy at each possible price during a given period of time is the definition that you need to give when you are asked with a question, what is demand? Demand are of two types, individual demand and market demand. So, what is individual demand? Individual demand is the demand of a single consumer. You can just read out this particular statement, which is the same as we have learnt about the meaning of demand. The quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing and able to buy at each possible price during a given period of time. You can say that it is the same what we studied about demand, but you must be careful about this word a consumer, a single consumer. Here, individual demand refers to the demand or the purchase of the commodity made by an individual or a single consumer. Whereas, what is market demand? You need to know the difference between individual demand and market demand. Let us know what is market demand. The quantity of a commodity that all consumers, that means in individual demand, our concern was to know the demand made by an individual or a single consumer, but in market demand, we consider the demand of all the consumer. This is the difference between individual demand and market demand. Therefore, you can say that the quantity of a commodity that all consumers are willing and able to buy at each possible price during a given period of time. Now let us understand determinants of demand, particularly individual demand. What are determinants of demand? There are certain factors that influences the demand, that makes the demand to change, or the factors that affect the demand itself is called as determinants of demand. We have taken the most important determinants of demand, starting with price of the given commodity. The quantity of a commodity that is being purchased by a consumer mainly depends upon the price of the given commodity. Whenever a consumer wishes to buy a commodity, he will first look into the price of a commodity. It is a normal tendency that whenever the price is less, he will buy more of that commodity. That is, when the price is less, demand will be more. And this sort of relationship that exists between price and quantity demanded is called as inverse relationship, which we will study as a separate concept for the day, that is law of demand. Coming to the second determinant, we have the price of related goods. Price of related goods. Here, related goods can be of two. One is substitute good, the other one is complementary goods. Substitute goods and complementary goods. What are substitute goods then? Few goods are consumed as an alternative to one another, or a good which is consumed as an alternative to another good is called as substitute good. The best example I can give is tea and coffee. As an alternative to coffee, we may have tea. Therefore, one good is substituted for another good, for which we call it as substitute good. Likewise, there are certain goods which are consumed together to satisfy a particular want. Example, car and petrol. You cannot use this commodity in a separate manner. It is to be used together in order to enjoy the drive or ride of a car. Therefore, these goods are to be used together. They are complementary to one another. So, these goods are called as complementary goods. And how the changes in the price of these related goods, it can be substitute goods or complementary good, has its effect on its related goods demand that we study in this determinant called price of related goods. And the third important determinant is income of the consumer. Not only the price of the given commodity and prices of related goods matters, even the income of the consumer has its effect on the demand of a commodity. What the example I can give is, if a consumer's income is more, he tried to bring more of certain commodities. Again, here how the change in income has its effect on demand depends upon the nature of the commodity, where the nature of the commodity can be taken with the two categories of goods. One is normal goods, the other one is inferior goods. Normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods are those goods which has a direct relationship between income and demand. As the consumer's income increases, he wishes to buy more and more of such commodity. These normal goods includes our day-to-day life used commodities such as vegetables, fruits, milk and other goods which we use in our daily usage. On the other hand, there are certain goods where the consumer do not wish to buy more of such commodity even though his income increases, and those goods are called as inferior goods. As the income of the consumer increases, the demand for such commodity comes down, for which we call it as inferior goods. Therefore, there is inverse relationship between change in income as well as change in quantity demanded. Then coming to the next particular determinant, taste and preferences of the consumer. It all depends upon the taste and preferences of the consumer, where though the price of that commodity is more, if a consumer prefer to buy more of such commodity, or if his taste and preferences are towards that particular commodity, he will not bother whether he is paying more price for that. The next one is expectation of change in the price in future. If people's expectation towards a particular commodity and its price will be more in the future, he tries to buy more of such goods today. Therefore, the demand for such good increases if the expectation of the consumer towards that particular commodity and its price is more, or it is rising, or it is high. All these factors which has its influence, which has its effect on demand, is considered as determinants of market demand. All those factors that affect the individual demand also has its influence on market demand. In addition to those 5 determinants, market demand is influenced by few other factors, for which we call it as determinants of market demand. And here an additional factors that influences the market demand includes size and composition of population. Increase in population increases the market demand, and decrease in population reduces the market demand. Then coming to the second one, season and weather. Season and weather also has its impact on the quantity demanded, especially market demand. Let me take a very good example of a season. It may be a winter season. During winter season, almost all the people prefer to wear sweater, woolen sweater, in order to be protected from the cold weather. Therefore, during season, people prefer to buy more of sweaters. That means the market demand, the demand of all the consumer increases. It all depends upon what season, and it also depends upon the weather. Next, distribution of income. Another important determinant of market demand is distribution of income. In any society, if there is equitable distribution of income is achieved, then the demand for the goods increases, because when the income is equally distributed among the population, then the purchasing power of the people will definitely increase, and with that income level, definitely they are going to buy more goods and services. Therefore, market demand increases. On the other hand, if there is inequality in the distribution of income, that leads to increase in the number of people who are living below poverty line. That means it will reduces the purchasing power of the people. When majority of the people in any economy or a society are poor, definitely they do not have the capacity or ability to buy more goods and services. Therefore, market demand comes down. As the income or the purchasing power of the people increases, definitely they buy more goods and services. In any economy, the distribution of income should be achieved in such a way that it should be equally distributed among all the people, so that will lead to increase in the purchasing power of the people and thereby market demand. On the other hand, if there is inequality in the distribution of income, that leads to decrease in the market demand. So these are the additional determinants of market demand, in addition to all those 5 determinants what we have understood in individual demand. When we started with the determinants of demand, we started with the first determinant, price of the given commodity, which speaks about the relationship between price as well as the demand for a commodity. There we study about the relationship between price as well as demand. Here we come across with another important concept, law of demand. What do this law of demand states? As we know very well, it is a normal tendency of a consumer that when the price is less, he tries to buy more of such commodity. When the price is more, he tries to buy less of that particular commodity. Therefore, when the price is more, demand will be less. When the price is less, demand will be more. That itself is the statement what we understand in the law of demand. So let us now take up with this idea, the law of demand. Law of demand states that there is inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, keeping other factors constant. We call this as ceteris paribus. Students, you must be little careful while understanding the law of demand. When we take up the relationship between price and quantity demanded, we keep the other determinants, other factors constant. Which are the other factors? Prices of related goods, income of the consumers, taste and preferences, expectation of change in the price in future. All those determinants, all those factors, we keep it as constant. We only study the relationship between price and quantity demanded. That is what the law of demand states. Law of demand states the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, keeping other factors constant. This is keeping other factors constant is called as ceteris paribus in economics. As I already informed you that this law will particularly gives an idea when there is reduction or decrease in the price, or decrease in price leads to expansion or increase in the quantity demanded, and increase in price leads to contraction or decrease in the quantity demanded. Very many words are interchangeably used, like increase can be also called as rise or expansion, decrease can be called as fall, reduction or contraction. Don't get confused, students. When you go through with the study material, these terms are interchangeably used. You must understand that when there is a decrease in the price, the quantity demanded increases. When there is increase in the price, the quantity demanded decreases. This is what the law of demand states. Here you also have to be very careful about this term, ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus refers to other things being constant. Ceteris paribus refers to other things being constant. Assumptions of law of demand. Law of demand is formulated based on certain assumptions, which includes price of substitute goods do not change. While explaining the law of demand, we had observed a term called as ceteris paribus, keeping other factors constant. Other factors includes related goods, it may be substitute goods, complementary goods. While considering the price of a commodity, we do not consider what happens when there is a change in the price of substitute goods. So we keep the change in price of substitute goods remain constant. That is the first assumption. Price of substitute goods do not change. There is no change in the price of substitute goods, nor the price of complementary goods changes. We also consider, or the assumption is also being made that the price of complementary goods do not change. If there is a change in the price of either substitute goods or complementary goods, then the law of demand may not operate. Then income of the consumer remains the same. There is no change in the income of the consumer. If the income of the consumer was 10,000, it remains the same, because when there is a change in the income of the consumer, he will get the purchasing power to buy whatever the amount of commodity he wants. Then there may be an adverse effect on the demand. That means the law of demand may not operate. Even though there is a change in price, it has no effect on demand. Therefore, we consider the income of the consumer remains the same. There is no change even in the income of the consumer when we consider the law of demand, when the law of demand is in operation, such as when there is an increase in price, there is a fall in the quantity demanded. When such law is applicable, when the law of demand operates, these assumptions have been made that the income of the consumer also remains the same. In addition to price of substitute goods do not change, price of complementary goods do not change. And the next assumption is there is no expectation of change in the price in future. Another important determinant that we had actually have observed was people prefer to expect a change in the price in future, which also has its influence on demand. But when the law of demand operates, we consider an assumption is being made that there is no change in the expectation by the consumer over that product and its price, or there is no expectation of change in price in future. Then coming to the last assumption, even the taste and preferences of the consumer remains the same. There is no change in the taste and preferences. When the law of demand operates, we only consider what happens to quantity demand when there is a change in price. Tabular representation of the law of demand is the demand schedule. Now let us have a look at the demand schedule. In this schedule, we have price as well as quantity demanded, where price is measured in terms of rupees, quantity demanded of this particular commodity X is measured in units. When the price is rupees 5, a consumer prefers to buy 1 unit of such commodity. When there is a decrease in price from 5 to rupees 4, there is an increase in the quantity demanded. The demand increases from 1 unit to 2 units. When there is further decrease in the price, there is increase in the quantity demanded. As the price goes on decreasing, the demand goes on increasing. This is what we studied in the law of demand. There is inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. When there is increase in price, there is a decrease in quantity demanded. When there is decrease in price, there will be an increase in quantity demanded. The graphical representation of the law of demand itself is the demand curve. Whatever the statistical data, whatever the data that is there in this schedule, when we represent it in the form of a curve, graphically we derive a demand curve which is negatively sloping, which is downward sloping. You can see that when the price was 5 rupee, the demand for such commodity is 1 unit. When the price decreases to 4, the demand increases to 2 units. When the price further decreases to 3, the demand increases to 3 units. When the price decreases to 2, the demand increases to 4 units. When the price decreases to 1, the demand increases to 5 units. As the price of the commodity reduces, the demand for it rises. These are the two ways of explaining the law of demand. One is demand schedule, the other one is demand curve. There is one more way of representing the law of demand, that is in the form of an equation, which I need to tell it in a brief way. You can represent a demand function in the form of QD is equal to A minus BP. Here you know very well QD represents quantity demanded, P represents price of the commodity. Here A represents constant which is affected by non-price factor, and here B represents the slope of the curve. It affects the slope of the curve, and this negative sign indicates there is inverse or opposite relationship between price and quantity demanded. So we have learned how the law of demand can be explained in 4 different ways, in the form of a statement, in the form of a schedule, in the form of a curve, as well as in the form of an equation. I believe student you all have understood about the law of demand in detail. So it is very important question from your examination point of view. They will ask you a question, state the law of demand, which is very simple. So you need to know the meaning of demand as well as the law of demand, which will be asked as the most important questions in your examination.